So now that we've determined the marginal product, how much additional output, how many more car washes we get for each extra worker we add, we need to figure out how that affects our profits. Okay, so that's what the value of the marginal product is intended to capture. So VMP, write it up here, is defined as the value of the marginal product and very simply, I want to calculate how many additional car washes I get per extra worker. And in terms of revenue, I'm going to get that many car washes times the price. So the value of the marginal product is going to be equal to the price of the good times the marginal product. Now in our example, remember that the price of the good was equal to $10. So we get $10 per car wash. And so now I want to figure out, for each of these workers, how much additional revenue am I going to get? What's their value as we go along? So the value of the marginal product is going to be their marginal product, 20, times the price of the good, $10, which is $200. So if I add the first worker, I'm going to add $200 to my revenue. Now we'll see in a second, it costs me $60 to add the worker, and so that's going to tend to be worthwhile. So $200 in the value of the marginal product of the first worker. The second worker, the marginal product is 15 car washes. They add 15 car washes, which gives me, I kind of skipped back there, a value of the marginal product of $150, 15 times 10 for the second worker. So the second worker adds $150 to my revenue. The third worker, 10 times 10, adds $100 to revenue. The fourth worker is going to add 5 times 10, or $50 to my revenue. So that's what the value of the marginal product is intended to capture. And so what we then want to look at here is to figure out, well, where do we stop? How many workers do I want to hire then? So I know what each worker is going to add to my revenue, but I need to know what are they going to add to my costs. And so the key criterion here, if I put a star down here, is we want to keep adding workers as long as the value of the marginal product is bigger than the wage I have to pay them, which is the extra cost of adding a worker. So if we take that first worker, for example, they're adding $200 to revenue. The value of the marginal product is $200. The wage, the extra cost of hiring that worker, is $60, and since they give me more in revenue than it costs to pay them by $140, I should hire the first worker. That will increase my profits. The second worker, $150, is also greater than the wage. We can put the wage here to compare. Same for the third worker. They add $100, the third worker does, in revenue with 10 car washes. I have to pay them $60. I'm going to make $40 extra in profit off of that third worker. Now when I go to the fourth worker, the value of the marginal product, I'm going to stop when the value of the marginal product becomes less than the wage. In that case, the fourth worker is going to add $50 to my revenue, but I have to pay them $60, so I'll lose $10 of profit on that worker. So what this tells us is that the firm wants to hire 3 workers in this case, and that's based on maximizing their profits, thinking about the extra benefit of hiring a worker, summarized by the value of the marginal product, and comparing it to the extra cost. And in this case, we arrive at a decision to hire 3 workers